Dive into the pages of history and find yourself in the year 1798, amidst the French Revolutionary Wars. A period of radical social and political upheaval in France, the Revolutionary Wars were not just a domestic affair. They spilled over French borders, involving various European powers, and even reaching as far as Egypt. Enter Napoleon Bonaparte, a name synonymous with ambition and military genius. Napoleon was a man on the rise, swiftly climbing the ranks of the French military to become a leading figure in the political landscape. He was a man of vision and strategy, with a keen eye on the geopolitical chessboard. The French Revolutionary Wars were not just about controlling France, they were about shaping Europe and beyond, and Napoleon knew this all too well. He saw an opportunity, not just for personal glory or for France, but for a grand plan that could redefine the balance of power. And so, Napoleon turned his gaze towards Egypt. Why Egypt, you might ask? Well, for one, Egypt was seen as the gateway to India, a British colony and a significant source of wealth for the British Empire. By establishing a French presence in Egypt, Napoleon aimed to disrupt British trade routes, thereby weakening their economic stronghold. Moreover, Egypt held a strategic position in the Middle East. A French presence there would not only provide a staging ground for further expansion but also act as a buffer against Ottoman power. It was a bold and ambitious plan, characteristic of Napoleon's audacious leadership style. But it wasn't just about power and strategy. Napoleon was also drawn to the allure of Egypt's ancient civilization. He brought along a team of scientists and scholars on his expedition, reflecting his vision of not just military conquest, but also cultural and scientific exploration. So, Napoleon, brimming with ambition, set his sights on Egypt, a decision that would lead to the iconic Battle of the Pyramids. Setting sail from Toulon, Napoleon's fleet embarked on a daring journey across the Mediterranean Sea. With a fleet of nearly 400 ships, the audacious General Napoleon Bonaparte set his sights on Egypt, a land of ancient mysteries and strategic importance. The journey was fraught with peril, as the British naval forces lurked in the waters, posing a serious threat to Napoleon's expedition. Despite these risks, Napoleon's fleet managed to avoid the ever-watchful eyes of the British Navy. With a combination of clever tactics and good fortune, they successfully navigated the treacherous seas and landed on the sandy shores of Alexandria on the 1st of July, 1798. But sailing across the Mediterranean was only the beginning of Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. As he set foot on Egyptian soil, he faced another challenge: winning the hearts and minds of the Egyptian people. The Egypt he arrived in was under the rule of the Mamluks, a military caste who had been in power since the 13th century. Napoleon, with his characteristic flair for the dramatic, proclaimed himself as a liberator from the Mamluk rule. He promised the Egyptians freedom, equality, and a chance to reclaim their rich heritage. His proclamation was shrewdly crafted to appeal to the Egyptians' sense of pride and their desire for change. The French general's words resonated with many Egyptians, who saw in him a chance to overthrow their Mamluk overlords. But it was not just his words that won them over. Napoleon's respect for Islam and his efforts to understand and appreciate Egyptian culture played a significant role in gaining their support. Napoleon's journey to Egypt was a testament to his strategic brilliance and his ability to adapt to new and challenging situations. It was a journey marked by daring, diplomacy, and a deep understanding of the human heart. With his foot set on Egyptian soil, Napoleon was ready to march towards his destiny, the pyramids. The stage was set for one of the most iconic battles in history, a battle that would forever change the face of Egypt in the course of Napoleon's life. On July 21, 1798, the French and the Mamluks clashed under the shadow of the Great Pyramids. It was a sight that would have made the ancient pharaohs stir in their tombs. The stage was set for a battle of epic proportions. Napoleon Bonaparte, a name that would echo through the annals of history, led the French forces. His adversaries were the Mamluks, Egypt's then ruling military caste, formidable in their own right. The French forces were outnumbered. Yet Napoleon was not deterred. He knew the strength of his army lay not in their numbers, but in their formation. He ordered his men to form into squares, a tactical maneuver often used in open fields to protect against cavalry charges. Each square was a self-contained unit of infantry and artillery, a fortress that could move and adapt to the changing tides of battle. The Mamluks, on the other hand, were a force to be reckoned with. Known for their fierce combat skills and horse-riding prowess, they charged at the French squares with a ferocity that was as terrifying as it was breathtaking. Yet, the French squares held firm. their disciplined ranks presenting a wall of bayonets that the Mamluk horsemen could not breach. As the battle raged on, the pyramids bore silent witness to the unfolding drama. Napoleon, ever the strategist, used the terrain to his advantage. The sandy, uneven ground proved to be a handicap for the Mamluk cavalry, their horses struggling in the soft sand. Meanwhile, the French artillery, positioned strategically within the squares, unleashed a deadly hail of cannon fire. The Mamluks fought valiantly, but they were no match for the disciplined, well-organized French forces. As the day wore on, the Mamluk ranks thinned, their horsemen falling one after the other to the relentless French onslaught. By the time the sun set on the battlefield, the outcome was clear. The French were victorious, and the Mamluks had suffered heavy losses. Napoleon had proven his strategic prowess once again, turning the tide of battle in his favor, despite being outnumbered. There was no fanfare, no grand celebrations, just the quiet satisfaction of a battle well fought and a victory well earned. The French soldiers stood tall, their faces lit by the fading light of the setting sun, their shadows stretching long and triumphant on the sandy battlefield. And so, under the watchful gaze of the Great Pyramids, a new chapter in Egypt's history was written. A chapter painted in hues of French victory and Mamluk defeat. A chapter that would forever change the face of Egypt and etch Napoleon's name in the sands of time. The battle was won. The pyramids stood witness to a new dawn in Egypt, a dawn painted in hues of French victory. The Battle of the Pyramids, a testament to Napoleon's military genius, left an indelible mark on Egypt. In the wake of the battle, France established its rule in Egypt, marking the beginning of a new era. With Napoleon at the helm, the French occupation brought along a wave of scientific and cultural discovery. Scholars, scientists, and artists accompanied the troops, immersing themselves in Egypt's ancient history and rich culture. They studied the hieroglyphics, marveled at the grandeur of the pyramids, and cataloged the country's unique flora and fauna. These discoveries were compiled into the Description de l'Égypte, a monumental 23-volume work that shone a light on Egypt's wonders for the world to see. However, the French rule in Egypt was not to last. The British, alarmed by French expansion, launched a counter-offensive. The French forces, besieged and outnumbered, were eventually compelled to withdraw. Napoleon himself slipped away, returning to France where he would seize power in a coup d'état. Yet the French influence lingered on in Egypt long after their departure, evident in the Western-style reforms and modernization that marked the ensuing years. The Battle of the Pyramids had far-reaching ramifications, not only for Egypt but for the world. It sparked a wave of Egyptomania across Europe, with Egyptian motifs becoming a staple in fashion, architecture, and art. It also marked a turning point in military strategy, with Napoleon's tactics studied and emulated by generations of military leaders. The battle's legacy also extended to the political sphere. The power vacuum left by the French withdrawal paved the way for Muhammad Ali Pasha, considered the founder of modern Egypt, to rise to power. His reign saw a series of reforms that propelled Egypt towards modernity. The echoes of the Battle of the Pyramids still resonate in the annals of history, a symphony of victory, ambition, and transformation. From the bustling streets of revolutionary France to the ancient sands of Egypt, we've journeyed through a pivotal chapter of history. We began with the intense revolutionary backdrop that set the stage for Napoleon's daring expedition. The journey to Egypt was no small feat, with the Mediterranean serving as a treacherous obstacle course. The crux of our tale, the Battle of the Pyramids, showcased Napoleon's strategic genius and his ability to turn the tide of war in his favor. The aftermath of this historic battle painted a clear picture of its significance. It left a profound impact on Egypt, influencing its political, social, and cultural landscape for years to come. Napoleon's audacious campaign in Egypt was a defining moment in his illustrious career. It was a testament to his military prowess and his relentless pursuit of power and glory. As we close this chapter, we leave with a deeper understanding of the Battle of the Pyramids, a battle that shaped the destiny of a nation and left an enduring legacy on the world stage.